WNZK has available a few good hours of airtime for a few good programs to serve their communities. Radio is better than ever in targeting an audience that listens to what you say. Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity by calling WNZK Radio at 248-557-3500. Call now. You're listening to WNZK, Dearborn Heights, Detroit, your ethnic superstation, 690 days, 680 nights.
أهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا مع ليلى الحسيني في بث حي ومباشر وعبر WNZK راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan with Layla Alhoussaini. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues with your host, Layla Alhoussaini.
Today's program is sponsored by Dish Network.
Arabi. That's what I said. Arabi. Forget it. Watch مسلسل.
Save 40% for 12 months on the Arabi deal from Dish. Get your favorite Arabic channels for $24.99 a month. Call 1-888-926-1455 and use the code offer SAVE BIG. That's 1-888-926-1455. Dish, your culture at home.
Arabi.
Limited time offer. Requires subscription to qualifying American or Dish Latino programming. Other restrictions apply.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Baladi of U.S. Arab Radio, the most effective ethnic radio in North America. Today is Friday, January 22nd, 2016. My name is Kalil Hachem, editor of the Michigan.com, the fastest growing multimedia news platform in the Middle Eastern communities in Michigan. We want to thank you for being with us today. The number here is 248-557-3300. We welcome your calls, your comments, your questions, and anything that is on your mind. The weather today is cold and more cold. Tomorrow is going to be even colder. There's a little bit of snow today, and it's the temperature, I think it's about 24 degrees, humidity 84%, and we're expecting a little bit of snow on and off throughout the day. The temperature could reach up to 28 degrees. Tomorrow is a little bit colder. In the morning there is no snow, and temperature could reach up to 30 degrees. Sunday there's more sun, a little bit warmer, at least on the dial it shows about 35 degrees. We hope that it's going to be a little bit more warmer next week. Looks like 36 and 39 and another 36. So we're looking forward to a little bit more warmth, although in general we're not complaining. It has been a good weather. In the news this morning, we want to say our condolences, to send our condolences to the family of the young man who died suddenly, Ali Baydoun, 23. May he rest in peace, Allah yarhamu, and our condolences to his family. It's really a tragic accident that you know the family is dealing with. Again, I want to welcome you here today. We have a great program for you today. We're going to be talking a little bit about the water issue in Flint, and then Rawia Alhoussaini is going to be with us from Dreamy School. She'll be talking about the effects of good child care on children on their future. And Dr.Suwan will discuss the difference between alcoholism and social drinking and how to get help. That's going to be in the latter part of the program. The issue in Flint, the water problem that has persisted for a while now, it's getting more and more national attention. For most of you, if you're not familiar with the issue, about a year or so ago, maybe a couple of years ago, the city of Flint that had a manager to manage this city, and that manager was appointed by the governor because the city was a failed city, and the city council could not really fix the budget. This manager decided, he or someone or the city itself decided, or the state, they decided that it would be cheaper to get water from the Flint River instead of getting it from Lake Huron, like most of us get it, which is a lot cleaner water. The problem is that the water had a lot of sediment in it, or lead and or other sediments, chemical sediments in it, in which I believe, is that what's called? It had sediment in it? I think so, yeah. Yeah, and then what it did, it bleached iron or lead rather from the pipes into the drinking water. Some residents were complaining about the color of the water, and of course Flint is a poor city, mainly African American. Not many people really paid attention to until some kids start falling sick, and then others really sounded the alarm. I believe one of the people who sounded the alarm is an Iraqi immigrant who is credited with uncovering the Flint water crisis, Muna Hana Atisha, or Hanna Atisha rather, according to the Huffington Post. She's one of the people who uncovered this, and then they persisted, and then others were testing the water, and then turned out to be it was bad water, and some of the children start getting sick, and then start getting the attention of state and local and national officials. Then the EPA person got fired from the state, and then the story really didn't stop, just getting worse and worse and worse, and finally the state decided this is a problem in the city, this is a problem for the residents, and they stopped getting water from the Flint River, and then went back to Lake Huron, and trying to, and a lot of people are donating and taking water to the city of Flint. This is a major issue. Governor Snyder acknowledged the problems and acknowledged the issue, how severe it is, during the State of the State address. Also, on the national level, the White House and everybody else are, although unfortunately the federal government did not declare Flint a disaster area, because that declaration is more or less has to do with natural causes, which at this point to me is like a technicality. There is a problem, there is a serious problem, and it needs to be really solved. Anyway, the governor asked lawmakers to allocate $20 million for Flint, and then President Obama said or announced that the federal government will allocate about $80 million. This is an ongoing issue. It's going to be a long-term issue. There are already class action lawsuits against the city because these children who have been affected by, they may have a long-term problems with drinking that contaminated water. So this issue could cost the state billions and billions of dollars, if not even more, and it's going to be an ongoing issue for years to come. What's the lesson here? Some people are calling, the governor should resign in this. I don't think so. I don't think the governor should resign. Yeah, they screwed up, but let's solve the issue. Let's get together and solve the issue, before we start calling for people to resign. Let's not, let politics get involved in this. Yes, there was a neglect because this was a poor area, mostly African-American city. But you know what? What can we do to solve the issue? First, this is the most important thing. How can we provide fresh water to that city to make sure that everybody is getting what they need to get? Second, what can we do? What can we learn from this to prevent it? Those emergency managers that have been sent to cities because cities cannot run their affairs sometimes don't have the best interest of the residents at heart, because they're coming in motivated by numbers. What that is that the governor would appoint an emergency manager. The most popular one is the one that was appointed to the city of Detroit. However, the one that was appointed to the city of Detroit was a good manager, in which he came in, and there was a lot of negotiations to reduce the debt of the city. Some managers come in and start really slashing things left and right, and with total disregard to the benefits of the residents, and that is not a good issue, as we've seen what happened in Flint. So we need to take a look at that one more time. How are we appointing these managers, and what's the mandate? Some people are calling to not do it again. Well, it's needed because some cities cannot run their affairs. However, it needs to be done better, and this is something very important. This is one issue. The other issue is that not always the cheapest route is the best route. We really need to think about what is best for the residents, these children, and this is what we didn't think about what happened in Flint. And then the state really screwed up. There were a lot of evidence pointing that this was bad water, and we did not, or the state did not really pay attention to it at first. And then MDEQ, Michigan Department of Environment, I believe, or something, the name of it. So environmental quality, rather, that is. And they just didn't pay any attention to it. And the chief of that department resigned, and another person is resigning. But that's not enough, which is good. They need to be held accountable, but that's not enough. We need to find a way to make sure these things does not happen, because this is America. We do things better. And now Congress is asking to hold or planning to hold a session on special session on the issue, and they're calling several people to testify, including the governor, which is good that finally we're attracting the attention of Congress. And the way Congress deals with things is they form a committee when there is a problem, and it's important that it's really important that we address it correctly. And do we have a caller? Okay. Good morning, caller.
Kalil?
Good morning, caller. Is this Ahmad?
Good morning. Yes.
Good morning. Thank you so much for calling.
Sure.
We're discussing the Flint issue. We're discussing it from the water issue in Flint. We're discussing it in from various perspectives. And then I understand that you wrote a few days ago in regard to the issue from a human rights perspective, and just wanted to ask you to comment on it if you would.
Well, indeed, let's put it this way. Human rights are God-made rights, and that simply makes water as a basic human right necessity to people all over the world. Imagine we are in the largest, biggest, richest, the land of the brave, the land of opportunity, the great nation of the United States, championing the world at most of all levels, and yet we have such sad a crisis, or a crisis that was mainly human-made crisis, to reach that level where it impacted the health and the public health and the well-being of the residents of the city of Flint.
Absolutely.
And actually, the Flint crisis water is only one of a series of crises. I think it originally started in Detroit, where thousands of people had their water service disconnected simply because they could not afford it.
Can you imagine that's happening in America? People can't get water because they can't afford it?
Yes, this is the underline. This is where you say, you really can't imagine that it's happening in the U.S. But we have to accept the reality that the U.S., regardless how good it is, regardless of the great opportunities we have, regardless of the huge resources that we have that puts us ahead of every other nation, yeah, we still have our crises and our challenges here and there. We're talking about poverty, we're talking about hunger, we're talking about homeless. But yes, nobody imagined that people will reach a stage where we have a polluted water, waste, radioactive disposal of that is stored in neighborhoods around Detroit. The water in Detroit, people lost their service, and yet now in Flint. And beyond even the water crisis, as we talk about, we're talking about another emerging ongoing crisis, which is the future of Detroit public schools as well, that is collapsing.
Absolutely.
And it's ironic that the same city manager that was assigned for the city of Flint, who is maybe one of the root problems for the Flint water crisis that reached that stage, now is the same emergency manager for the Detroit public schools. So you really wonder what is going on.
We were just talking earlier, in regard to this emergency manager mandate, maybe it needs to be revisited, and, because these people come in with only one thing in mind, to slash budgets and get the numbers right without really thinking about the effects on the residents and, in this case, on everybody in that city.
But this is why, people's interest should be first, and this should not be a matter of political debate. Although we are part of this engagement, what I mean here, people, elected officials in particular, on the local, county, state, and federal level, should rise above the occasion.
Yep.
One, put a collaborative plan to solve it on behalf of the interests of people, secure the best, the well-being of Flint residents. The same applies in Detroit. The same applies for the Detroit public school systems. And later, yes, we have the people who caused this or contributed for the crisis to reach that level should be held accountable.
Absolutely.
Should witness a very transparent investigation where put the facts before the public and make the public be aware of it, so such a crisis don't repeat itself. Keep in mind that when we talk about a Flint crisis, and here I take the opportunity for all the people, volunteers, charity organizations, especially from the American Arab and Muslim community who rushed to help and who lended the help.
Absolutely.
Which, that shows that attests to the fact of our unity, that at the end of the day, we are one united family, and when any part of us face a crisis, we all stand by it. Now, in order for this crisis not to repeat itself, and God knows what is next, yes, those who are responsible should be held accountable, and this should not go just like that. You're talking about thousands of people who could be impacted by the water crisis in Flint, and you don't know what kind of health complications they are to deal with down the road.
Absolutely. Imad Hamad, Executive Director of the American Human Rights Council, and I really, really want to thank you for being with us this morning. Any other final comments on the issue?
No, we have to remember that water, health, education are not selective, are not optional.
Absolutely.
They are basic human rights that must be protected and provided to people regardless what it is.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you so much, and thank your organization for really following on human rights issues, and thank you for getting up early this morning to be with us.
Thank you, and good morning to all of your listeners.
Thank you so much, Ahmad.
Take care.
Bye now. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
40 No, 40 Pronounce the عين بابا. What's Baba?
Save 40% for 12 months on the Arabic deal from Dish. Get your favorite Arabic channels for $24.99 a month. Call 1-888-926-1455 and use the code offer SAVE BIG. That's 1-888-926-1455. Dish, your culture at home.
Arabi.
Limited time offer. Requires subscription to qualifying American or Dish Latino programming. Other restrictions apply.
Jumana K-Ruse. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Jumana K-Ruse. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Jumana K-Ruz.
The war broke out in my home country, Lebanon. I was 11 years old, and I saw a lot of bloodshed and inequality and poverty. You can't grow up in an environment like that and not be affected by it and not want to make a difference. I graduated from Yale University with a master's in ethics. I speak 4 languages. It has always been innate in me fighting for the underdog and trying to do whatever it is I can to make a difference in the world.
Let Jumana K-Ruz protect your rights. Call the law offices of Jumana K-Ruz at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Donna, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
Welcome back to Radio Baladi. We're talking about the water issue in Flint, and I just want to remind you that the number here is 248-557-3300, and I want to make a correction, which is DEQ chief resigned. Also, EPA Region 5 Administrator Susan Hedman resigned as well in connection with the Flint water crisis. Also, another correction, which is the state Senate to allocate 28 million, not 20 million, 28 million for Flint water crisis. We will see what happens with that and how that will be really dealt with. I think we have a caller. Is that Jerry? Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning to you, Mr. Kalil Hachem. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely.
How are you this morning?
How are you? And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Yeah, I didn't talk to you since last year.
Yeah.
Let's hope it will be a good year. Start at the great city of Flint, that's the resident to have a fresh water, and this is their right. Mr. Kalil Hachem, the damage was done, and when the governor of Michigan, Mr. Rick Snyder, come on the State of the State address to be saying, I'm sorry, I believe, Mr. Governor, it came too late. The crisis was there. You could smell it 2 years ago. And I agree with you, the governor, he should resign, and he should let any person in charge to come and to find a solution. So my heart and my prayers, they go for the resident of the great city of Flint. And I hope this doesn't happen again, because if it happened in Flint, it could happen in Detroit, in Sterling Heights, in Madison Heights, in any city in the USA. In the meantime, Mr. Kalil Hachem, I also cannot blame everything on the government. Let's talk back in Detroit about the water crisis when the government starts shut off the water from some residents. Mr. Ahmad Hamid, with my respect to him, I heard him earlier. Mr. Kalil Hachem, in Detroit, when you get a service, you got to pay for the service. The water and to clean the water for the resident costs money. I'm surprised how come some people, they didn't pay their bills for 3, 4, 5 years in Detroit. And why the citizen in the suburb, they have to take the responsibility to pay the bill of water, and they raise the water in the suburb. So that's not an excuse. You get service, you got to pay it. Now, Mr. Kalil Hachem, it comes to the doctor, the American Iraqi doctor who discovered this, or she was the whistleblower about this water crisis. Doctor, I believe you mentioned Hannah Atisha.
Yeah, Atisha, yeah.
Beautiful. You know what I want to say, Mr. Kalil Hachem? Please, I'm not going out of the topics. We are very proud, the Syrian and the Iraqi and all the Middle Eastern to have a doctor and a teacher and a great man like Steve Jobs from Syria. Is those two people, as some people, they stop 10,000 refugees to come to the great Michigan, stop them because they are terrorists?
Well, that's a totally different issue. First,
exactly.
First,
but I tried to
I understand. First, before we call on the resignation of the governor, I think we have an issue to solve. Once we solve the issue, then we can start holding people accountable to what happened to make sure it doesn't happen again. You know, and this is first. Second, you know, what Mr. Hamad was saying is that some people in Detroit that water was going to be shut off. These are poor people. And I understand that you have to pay for services, and if I don't pay for mine, I will lose it. But at the same time, you know, we can build a $1.3 billion plane and dump it in the ocean, and we can't really provide enough water to poor people in America. You know, and then we're the leader of the free world, and we're the leader of this and the leader of that. I think we need to really. We need to look after our own people before.
Mr. Kalil Hachem, they cannot use the water as a weapon against the citizen. There is always some kind of agreement between the local government and the citizen to take care of their bill without shut off the water from a whole family. And this is in 21st century. There is no excuse to use the water as a weapon against the citizen and use them as a blackmail. But in the meantime, Mr. Kalil Hachem, allow me to add two words. We do have two senators in Michigan, Mrs. Debbie Stabenow and Mr. Gary Peters. Where they were, those two senators, just sitting in Washington, D.C., and forgot what's happening in their state of Michigan? I try to blame those two senators, too. Where they were sleeping on the job or what? So, Mr. Kalil Hachem,
I think you have a point. We need to hold all our elected officials accountable to what happened, but we don't want to confuse it with how we solve the issue. And this is something very, very important. We need to solve the issue. The same thing with the issue with the crisis. Before we start talking about what country to take him, we need to stop the fighting in Syria so there'll be no more refugees leaving. So it's how we deal with the issue is very important. Thank you so much, Jerry. We really appreciate your calling us this morning.
And the United States of America, thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you. And we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Arabi. That's what I said. Arabi. Forget it. Watch مسلسل.
Save 40% for 12 months on the Arabi deal from Dish. Get your favorite Arabic channels for $24.99 a month. Call 1-888-926-1455 and use the code offer SAVEBIG. That's 1-888-926-1455. Dish, your culture at home.
Arabi.
Limited time offer. Requires subscription to qualifying American or Dish Latino programming. Other restrictions apply.
Life for Relief and Development is a non-profit charity that has been providing humanitarian aid and development to people and communities regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background for over 22 years. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life rushes to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Life also has development projects to provide medical relief, water purification, educational programs, relief for orphans, and much more. Your help and support can greatly improve these efforts. All donations are tax deductible. For more information, please visit our website at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493. That's lifeusa.org, 248-424-7493.
Are you going to start a restaurant or a grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Najee Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Najee Abood, 734-744-9796.
From their first words to first grade, Dreamy Children's Center will help get your child on the right track. The highly qualified staff works closely with parents to provide an experience that goes beyond early education. We can help nurture important personality traits with the use of educational programs ranging from preschooling for infants to Montessori-approved programs and bilingual curriculums for young children. All meals can be provided and we can arrange for after-school pickup. Dreamy Children's Center in Dearborn Heights on Warren, in Westland on Ann Arbor Trail, and in Troy on DeQuinder.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. It's Arab Radio this morning. We were talking earlier about the water issue in Flint, and now we're going to move to a different issue. Good morning, Rawia.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Thank you.
What's new and exciting?
Well, a lot of things.
Okay.
So many things. So today we're going to be talking about the positive long-term impact.
Okay.
A high-quality preschool and childcare have on our children. Now, I want to stress out
before you do that, please introduce yourself and your title and what do you do at the center?
Sure. Well, my name is Rawia Alhoussaini. I am an admin director at Dreamy Children's Center, and I currently work out of 3 locations: the Westland, Dearborn Heights, and the Troy.
Okay. And you mentioned the positive effect on, or the effect of positive child care on children. Is that in the future, or what period are we talking about?
Well, we're not only going to talk about the current, like when the child is 3 or 4. We're going to talk how that gets them ready to kindergarten.
Okay.
And even research shows that it's even taking them through primary school, like when you're getting up until 2nd and 3rd grade, they'll see a difference between a child that was getting a quality preschool prior to entering kindergarten and the difference between the other child who went straight from home through kindergarten without any prep in before in between.
Okay.
Like I was saying, the high quality part is very important, and that's where the parent comes in, and that's where he needs to do the research to see exactly where it will benefit, because not all preschools or child care are the same. There's a lot of aspects in researching that, and I want to stress out, when you're looking for preschool in particular, you want to know that the count of the classroom is going to be a low count with a high staff. Because I've had a lot of parents recently, come to me. They were transferring over from other preschools or whatnot, and they always tell me, I didn't feel like my child, was getting that one-on-one, which is very important, which is very important,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's why you want. So ideally, you want to look in a classroom for the 3s and 4s, the preschool before entering kindergarten. You'd want to have a classroom that does not have more than 18 to 20 children.
Okay.
And, 18 to 20 children is a lot, but you'll be surprised how many, I've been hearing about other classrooms that have a very high count. 25, 30 kids, which is stressful for the teacher.
It's a handful. It's really tough to pay attention to everybody.
So for the children,
yeah.
Imagine a classroom, no matter how big the classroom is, having 30 kids, it's going to be a lot. So high quality comes from that. It's one step at a time that you need to research. And one of the most important things, and I'm bringing it because of all the other parents coming and telling me this recently, I have my child and I didn't feel like they were getting that one-on-one. So it's very important.
So in addition to class size, what the other issues there?
Well, you'd want to look at the curriculum. You want to make sure as a parent as well, that we're not focusing on, okay, what are you going to teach my child today? What is he going to learn? When is he going to start to read? That's part of the preschooling. It's important that he recognizes letters and sounds. He recognizes phonics. He knows his numbers, his colors, his shapes. That's all important. But as a parent, you don't want to stress that out. You don't want to say, okay, what are you going to teach my child? Because that's really the wrong way of doing it.
Okay.
Because you learn best through all kind of other activities that you will find in a classroom on a daily basis, like story time, like blocks, you'll be surprised how many kids, learn from just simple tasks that they're doing, like, even during lunchtime when they're getting their meals ready, they're prepping their plates, and then they're helping each other get past the food or pouring their own milk. This is all very important for a child to do in a group setting.
Okay.
Even the conversation, we really encourage the conversation that goes, during meals when they're all sitting together in a family-style service meal. And you should hear the conversation that happens. This is very, knowledgeable. This is what needs to be happening in a classroom.
So that interaction really promotes, what does it promote?
I'm sorry?
That interaction between children, what does it promote?
It's going to promote, that self-confidence that the child is supposed to be gaining at preschool. It's going to encourage that independence. The child is going to recognize, I am, that sense of self. And he's going to start to explore that, I am independent. He's going to start knowing that he is separating from mommy and daddy, and he has that, that self. He's going to build that confidence.
Absolutely.
So these are very, very important. So a lot of parents, they think preschooling, okay, so he's going to learn his letters, he's going to learn his numbers, and he needs to know his shapes. This is very important, but that's not a priority. It shouldn't be a priority for the parent.
Okay.
He should really, we're going to be focusing on the social and emotional part of it. The child needs to be social. So, any pediatric physician, if the mom comes to the physician and tells them, I think that my child has some kind of delay, they're not very social, or I feel like, out of the 10 words he needs to know, he only knows 5, or he's not starting to form the 3-word sentence, I don't feel like, he's there yet. So any pediatric physician would tell you, go to a child care, have him socialize with other kids. And they'll be like, my child doesn't talk, how can you socialize? And you'd be surprised what you would see results in such a short time. The child would come, he really does not socialize, not even with mom and dad.
Sure,
and when he sees other kids talking, that pressure, that other kids are talking and they look like me, so you'll be surprised how the child starts to interact and how he starts to socialize and what difference it would make in a child's life.
Wonderful. And that would really affect the personality of that child down the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right.
We got 1 minute left. Let's wrap it up. What other, in general, would like people to know?
Just the importance of the preschooling before entering kindergarten. It would make the child have, that pre-reading skills, the richer vocabulary, the stronger personality, and, it's research has been showing that even when a child enters kindergarten without having readiness before that, he is not, all that ready. And the kindergarten teacher has to do what a preschool teacher should be doing. And then he goes to first grade, and then he's so behind, and he goes to second grade. It's been shown in research that up until third grade that the child is still a little bit behind, which is a very big deal when you're talking about early elementary years. So it's not just preschool or it's not just daycare. It's a very important gap that we need to start talking about, even if it's just, half days or part-time during the week. But it will make a difference in the child, and it will just achieve so many the enormous qualities that it provides for the child and for the family as a whole.
Well, thank you so much. I really want to thank you for being with us today and wish you good luck at the center. And it sounds like you guys are off to a really good start this year.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful activities there. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you. And stay tuned. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
قشات ميديترينيان ماركت بإدارة سهر قشات وأولاده يرحبون بالجالية العربية والكلدانية. جميع أنواع المواد الغذائية، ألبان طازجة، الكرزات والبهارات الطازجة. داخل الأسواق مطعم ميديترينيان شيش كباب يقدم يوميا جميع أنواع الكباب، المقبلات العربية العراقية وصواني الكامبو المميزة. تفتح الأسواق من 8 إلى 9 مساء من الاثنين وحتى السبت، ومن 8 صباحا إلى 9 مساء يوم الأحد. تقع الأسواق على 32839 نورث ويسترن هايواي في مدينة فارمينغتون هيلز. لحوم حلال للجالية الإسلامية. لطلباتكم من المطعم كول 248-538-7855. That is 248-538-7855. قشة ميديترينيان ماركت، خدمة متميزة ومعاملة راقية.
مسافر وحدك وفايتني.
أمتي ترافل للسياحة والسفر بإدارة نبيل الباشا تعلن عن افتتاح مكتبها الواقع على 28695 راين رود في مدينة وورن. خدمات متميزة وخبرة تفوق 20 عاما نضعها في خدمة عملائنا الكرام. مع أمتي ترافل يمكنكم حجز رحلاتكم الجوية داخل أمريكا، الوطن العربي وأنحاء العالم، إضافة إلى الأماكن السياحية والاستجمام. للحصول على أفضل العروض وأنسب الأسعار ولمزيد من المعلومات اتصلوا على الرقم 586-578-9126 586-578-9126. أمتي ترافل، عنوان للصداقة والثقة. أسواق زمزم الواقع على 24065 أورشاد ليك في مدينة فارمينغتون هيلز ترحب بالجالية العربية والكلدانية. تنزيلات كبيرة على عموم المواد الغذائية في يوم الأربعاء من كل أسبوع. لا تنسوا فريش كاري اوت، جميع انواع المعجنات، وايضا صواني الكامبو المشكله والصمون الحار. لحوم حلال الجاليه العربيه والاسلاميه الملحمه باداره قصاب الجاليه المعروف سلوان جربوع. زوروهم على 24065 اورشاد ليك في مدينه فارمينغتون هيلز، او اتصلوا بهم على 248-476-0300. اسواق زمزم للمذاقي عنوان لجميع طلباتكم، اتصلوا على 248-476-0300. اسواق زمزم للمعامله الراقية وكرم الضيافة عنوان.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us on US Arab Radio. The number here is 248-557-3300. Do we have a caller? Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me? Because I'm speaking. Okay. First of all, I want to congratulate you for doing your homework on regarding the Flint crisis.
Thank you.
And I really respect you for that.
Thank you.
Because you really did a good job.
Thank you.
I just want to be very, very brief. My name is Faisal Arabu.
Yeah, أهلا وسهلا.
أهلا وسهلا. There's no way, with due respect to all those people who might think that the governor should resign, just like you said, just like you stated, that's not the solution.
No.
We have never had such a great governor. I've been in America 65 years. He is one of the best governor we have ever had. It doesn't mean because of what happened we have to call for him to resign.
Yeah.
No, if that's the case, that means we will have the senators like Mr. Najib Habba stated. Where are they?
Exactly.
So somebody really. So he's right. But I agree with you. The point, the man, the governor, he was very candid, very sincere, very honest, very decent. He did say we made a mistake, and he knows how to correct it. Yeah. They're going to work on it. What they trying to say, he should resign to bring another person and go into the crisis until they solve it?
Exactly.
That's not the way.
Exactly.
I just want to tell you, I agree with you.
Thank you.
He is what he is, and he should not. On the contrary, we should support to see what can we do in order to help the governor. And I want to thank you. And I want to thank you, Mr. Hachem. You are a good man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your call. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And I agree. And this is a time where we, instead of just start working against each other, working together, and we need to see how we can really solve this issue. And do you have Dr.Suwan with us? Good morning, Dr.Suwan.
Good morning, Kalil. How are you?
Good. How are you? And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Have you been? I haven't talked to you for a year.
Oh, can you believe that?
I know. It's been about a month. So, what are we talking about today?
Oh, it's a very interesting subject. It's about alcoholism.
Okay.
So basically, I want to differentiate between alcoholism, alcohol abuse, and social drinking.
Okay.
So, with alcoholism, I want to make sure that everybody knows that alcoholism, which is known also as alcohol dependence, is a disease. It is a chronic relapsing disease. And it has 4 symptoms that we should acknowledge. And those 4 symptoms include craving, which is a strong need or compulsion to drink. This is number 1. Then loss of control, which is the inability to limit one's drinking on any given occasion. So they will just keep drinking and drinking. And then physical dependence. And with physical dependence, there will be withdrawal symptoms if this specific person will stop drinking. And those symptoms would be like nausea, sweating, shakiness, and anxiety. And this will occur when alcohol use is stopped after a period of heavy drinking. So this is physical dependence. Physical dependence is basically the presence of withdrawal symptoms, and also there is tolerance, which is the need to drink greater amounts of alcohol in order to get high as the time goes by. Like, for example, if like a specific amount of alcohol was enough to make this person become high, the same specific amount will not be enough in the future. As the time goes by, this person or this alcoholic would need more and more. I would like to say that alcoholics are alcohol abusers, but not every alcohol abuser is an alcoholic.
So how do we draw the line? How do we distinguish between the two?
To tell you the truth, sometimes it's difficult to draw the line, but what I would like to tell you is that alcoholic person or, anybody who has the alcoholism disease will have all of his life. It's all about getting the drink. It's all about, like drinking alcohol. The alcohol will be like under the bed. It will be in the purse. It will be,
like how many drinks a day a person drinks that to be considered alcoholic? And I know this varies from one person to the other, but is there like a general, guidelines?
It will be, really unlimited. I would tell you that why don't we just, I would like to tell you who is the social drinker, and then we will be able to know what the alcoholic would be. Now, there is something called social drinkers, and I know that so many people are social drinkers, and they will be drinking, like maybe during occasions. But remember, even any social drinker can get into something called binge drinking, where they will be drinking, like so much, like in one party, especially, like high school kids or college kids. They may actually fall into this category. I would say that social drinker or standard drinking or, normal drinking, if you will, although for me, nothing is normal. I never had alcohol in my life.
Exactly.
So, but, I just want to tell you about, what's going on, like around me, or around us. I would say that the normal drinking is basically no more than 7 units in a week for a woman and no more than 14 units for a man.
What's a unit?
For a woman, and I'll tell you what is the unit. But, if we are talking about normal drinking, for women, no more than 7 in a week, but no more than 3 in a day. For men, it is no more than 14 in a week, but no more than 4 per day. And now I would like to tell you what is the standard unit.
The standard unit of alcohol is basically 5 ounces of wine or 12 ounces of beer or wine cooler, or it is 1.5 ounces of 80 proof distilled spirits. And to tell you the truth, I really do not know any of this.
Yeah.
But this is
This is the standard.
like,
This is what they say. Yeah. I've done stories on this before, and basically any consumption of alcohol impairs judgment to a certain degree. So even that small amount does really impair judgment.
In some people, if somebody never had alcohol in their life, and maybe they will take just a little bit of something, and then they will become with impaired judgment, and they will not be able to drive. I would like also to bring a very important fact that there is a blood alcohol concentration above which or with which nobody can drive, which is 0.08%. 0.08%. And this is extremely important, for people to know that they cannot drive if the blood alcohol concentration is like that. And how they will know the blood alcohol concentration? How they can know that? As we have something for the body mass index, and you can look it up online. The same thing, they can do. They can actually put their weight and put how many drinks did they have and over how long, like 1 hour or 2 hours, and then they can calculate the blood alcohol concentration, and they can know if they can drive or not. But what I would tell you that when people are like binge drinking, or if they are drinking so much, I don't think they will have the mind to be able even to go, like on Google and find out how much is the blood alcohol concentration.
It doesn't work out that way, no.
Yeah.
See, the problem also is that when people start drinking, they think that everything is okay, and they're under the illusion that everything is okay, and this is how they get in trouble. The decision to make is, first, possible not to drink. Second, if they're at home, that's fine, but if they're not going to go out, not to drink, because again, any amount of alcohol is going to impair their judgment to a certain degree, now, so how do we remedy that?
I'll tell you how we would do that, but also I would like, just to tell you a little bit about alcohol abusers. Alcohol abusers, even if they are not alcoholics and they are not just like having their life all about getting alcohol and, drinking alcohol, still alcohol abusers, they may have failure to fulfill major work or school or home responsibilities, and they will be drinking in situations that are physically dangerous, such as like while driving or operating heavy machines or anything like that. And they may have also legal problems, such as being arrested for driving under influence. So I just want to let you know that people who are alcohol abusers may get into trouble, and even if somebody thinks that, I'm just a social drinker, if you are binge eating, if you are binge drinking, if you are binge drinking, and your life is affected, your work is affected, you're not able to go to school, you are not able to do your home responsibilities, you are getting into legal trouble because of, drinking. You are an alcohol abuser. People should know about that. And really, in my opinion, it doesn't work it. So what needs to be done? The first thing that we need to do is to identify the problem. If somebody is an alcohol abuser, he should identify the problem, and if he's not identifying the problem himself, family members can do that, workers can do that, somebody from the community can do it. Unfortunately, when it comes to alcoholics who are just like drinking, day and night, and all of their life is about drinking alcohol and they are like drunk all of the time, you cannot talk to them while they are drunk.
Of course not. They need to be sober, yeah.
You have to wait until they are like not drunk and you can talk to them. And, you know, they have to get help. This is not something that could be, you know, treated at home or even, you know, like at a primary care physician office.
There needs like a professional help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I would like to tell you that when it comes to alcohol abuse, we can treat it and it could be cured. But, you know, if we are talking alcoholism, we can treat alcoholism, but it's not a curable disease. I mean, this is something that needs to be treated all of the time. It needs to be, you know, followed up all of the time because, you know, the rate of relapse is so high. So that's why, you know, I mean, if somebody is an alcoholic and they get treated, you know, in one of the institutes or something, you cannot just treat them and forget about the situation.
Absolutely.
Those people, they need to be, you know, like followed all of the time. I mean, there are so many places where those people could be treated and there are like lots of help available, you know, everywhere, but it's not at home. Don't think that any alcohol abuse or alcoholism will be treated at home or primary care physician office. There are, you know, like specific institutes and rehab centers that could be contacted for, you know, the specific, you know, like disease. I mean, you know, they are only taking care of alcohol abusers and, you know, people can find them.
Is that what they call detox?
Exactly, and we do something called detox, and the detoxification, you know, specific medications could be used like benzodiazepine, and you know, in the past, you know, they used also, you know, like other medications like something called antabuse. Right now, you know, they are really, you know, like depending on like withdrawing alcohol, you know, gradually, with introducing something like benzo or maybe, you know, clonidine or, you know, other medications, and every case is different. The most important thing is to identify the problem and get help in a rehab center. There are, you know, some, you know, like, you know, areas where people can actually, you know, visit. There is something called substance abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. It is www.samhsa.gov crisis. It is 1-800-273-8255. There is also the Alcoholics Anonymous, and it is www.alcoholics.anonymous.org. And it is a website that contains educational information and telephone numbers for assistance in areas throughout the U.S. And they have their own support groups, and, you know, they can meet together and they can help each other. You know, what I'm trying, you know, like, you know, to tell you that it is not something that could be solved only at the level of family friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it needs a professional intervention. You know, could you send me via email all this info? Then we can put it on our website for people really to find it. And you know, our website is michigan.com. I think this way people will be able to, you know, look it up, and if they need help, we encourage them to do that. And you know, as always, we this has been a great segment, and you know, we hopefully talk about it more in the coming months as well. And I want to thank you for being with us.
I think it needs more. It needs more, Kalil. I think that maybe the next time we can talk about, you know, the effect of alcohol on different body organs. I mean, this is like so much, and I know that you didn't want me to talk about it.
That's fine. That's fine. It's just the time element. We can take only one issue at a time. Anyway, next time we will talk about that, and if you can send me the info via email, we can put it on our website. And we want to thank you so much for being with us. Happy New Year, and enjoy your week. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kalil.
Bye now. I want to thank you for listening to us. Again, this this is a perfect time to buy and sell a home. You know I'm in the business to do that. If you need help selling your property, give me a call, 313-819-0101, or log on to our website, yamichigan.com. Have a wonderful, wonderful, safe weekend. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you.